Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson. I'm your host, and if you had watched Tom Muccio on episode 1, this is episode 2 with Tom Muccio. Tom, welcome back.
Thank you.
It is so good to have you back, and I'll tell you, this is such a great day for me to get to spend time with my friend Tom Muccio, and we talked about his book, and there'll be tremendous information on our website about the book. If you haven't picked it up yet, make sure you get a copy of Collaborative Disruption. It is such a great title, but such a great book. I will tell you, it just makes me, I got to go get into that. So, Tom, again, we had such a great discussion on episode 1, and we got in, talking about, this one company model between you from Walmart and Procter Gamble. You did a great job talking about change management. And you even shared your learnings, some of your learnings, and those were very valuable learnings. So if you haven't watched or seen episode 1 with Tom Muccio, please do that, because it's really the foundational piece of what we're going to talk about in this piece. So, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good. Welcome back. Tom, I thought you did such a great job in episode 1, and the thing that I thought there's so much good information and great information there, but from a timeline, you talk about the beginning with the Walmart and the Procter Gamble relationship, this deep dive, if you will, and it took like 2 to 3 years.
Right.
So what we want to do is move to the next segment of your journey. Okay. I would say you relocated to Northwest Arkansas.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So he was at P&G working 2 to 3 years with a Walmart team, with a P&G team. Tom, you do a great job of walking through all of that. Now, as we go forward, now you're in Northwest Arkansas, the first supplier with an office in Northwest Arkansas.
Yes.
And there's 2,000 to 3,000 now.
Right.
Today. So, good job. So
I wish I'd have bought real estate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, me too. So now you're located in Northwest Arkansas. You've got so much work. So talk about now. Here you are. Now you're just you've had your team. You've navigated the obstacles. Now we got to go to work.
Right.
We got to grow the business. We got to make it more profitable. Talk about this segment of what you did and share with us the story.
Well, when we had this group called a mirror team, they were folks from each function in Walmart, P&G, and they were we considered ourselves kind of the board of directors for the relationship. Mm-hmm. And what we did is we would flow chart every business process. So we'd say, okay, we start here, and then this is what's happened next, and then we'd say, well, wait a minute, we're doing this and you're doing the same thing over here. So, I mean, it was very valuable just talking about it and understanding. The other thing is we had all the people on our team had to spend a week in a Walmart store so they could learn, because we didn't understand retailing. Right. And we brought Walmart folks up to our branding seminar so they could understand the difference between just price and value, and so forth. And then we had each function making changes to better align systemically, and then we had the whole. How do we bring this together? And we tried to create a sense of urgency, which we did. Mm-hmm. So we had a lot of things going at the same time versus one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. And that was very powerful because that gave us a lot of early quick wins, which allowed us to then enroll people from both companies saying, well, look at this, we've improved this, we've done this. Mm-hmm. So we were building fans, so to speak, as we went along. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't anything we felt we couldn't challenge and try and do something in a better way. And we also learned that each company did something much better than the other company. Mm-hmm. And so we tried to learn the solutions weren't P&G or Walmart, they were a combination. Mm-hmm. And I describe it as was like peeling an onion. We didn't know what was in the end.
Yeah.
After you peel a couple layers off, that may have been the treasure. We're out here worrying about something, and inside was where the big idea. And there's so many of these that where, well, as an example, we P&G has Crest, so that was in the toothpaste category. Well, Walmart had a brand called Dr. John's Spin Brush, and that was a toy manufacturer that made electric toothbrush, and we poo-pooed it. And then finally Walmart said, "Do you know how much of these we're selling?" And so when they helped us to understand that, we eventually went and bought the company.
Yeah.
And then the flip side of that, when I remember sitting down with Walmart saying, "I need 4 foot of space in your stores for this new item."
Mm-hmm.
What stores aren't elastic, and it was for Swiffer, the Swiffer lineup.
Sure.
And we were replacing buckets, mops, dustpans, which were one-time purchases, with an item that was a razor blade razor.
Right.
And so Walmart said, "I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll give you 25 stores, 4 feet." And they did. Cleared it out, and then it worked so well. And the profit margins, the sales, because these were items sold for, instead of a bucket for $2, this was a machine that was $20.
Right.
And then the stuff that would use it inside of it. And so we're just over and over things. We at P&G, when we introduced a new item, it took 16 weeks before we'd start advertising. Because, you had to go and people would send it to their buying committees, and then you had to get it in the stores, get it on the shelf. Walmart said to me, "Wait a minute, we add hundreds of items every week. Why don't we help you to go faster?" "Okay, what do you mean?" "We know your products are going to sell. You got a great track record of, so we don't need to have you jump through hoops. We're going to take the item in, put it in our warehouse, and then tell us what's the first day you can ship to retail. And by the end of that week, it'll be in all of our stores." Then that's what then gave rise to shopper marketing. Because, okay, you got it in the store, but before we started our advertising, how are people going to know what it is, how to buy it, and what to use it for? And as a result of that, we ended up starting advertising in week 5. Totally revolutionized the way we introduced new products. And in order to do that, we had to involve Walmart much earlier in the process, which was a big, scary thing for people in Cincinnati at P&G. Oh, our competitors are going to find out. We're going to be leaks. In the 15 years that I was the team leader, Walmart never compromised one iota, any data.
It leads me to a question, and I think as I'm listening to you tell the story, which is a great story, the ultimate question I have here is, then how did you build trust? Because there had to be a tremendous amount of trust between a supplier and Walmart, and I will tell you, it wasn't much trust at times. There was not much trust at times. So you had to, this is huge, to get what you're describing done, but the trust is critical. How did you do it?
Well, it started, again, I keep going back to multifunctional.
Yes.
Because now we were looking at the total playing field. Okay. We weren't just looking for, I describe it as, if you take a building and you look out one window and I look on the other side of the building out a different window, we can both describe what we see, but we're not seeing the same thing. So how can we all look out the same window? Right. And with each functional, oh, well, gee whiz, I can see this. I couldn't see that. So it started there, and then just through better understanding, spending more time together, and how do you make money? Where are the leverages? What does P&G do? What's the leverages? And then we identified pain points in the system and missed opportunities in the system. And so we made buckets of, here's point, how do we get rid of these pain points? What could we had two levers that we used to say. let's focus on issues, not positions. I could tell you, here's our policy. You tell me, here's our policy. That's not going to get anywhere.
Right.
What's the issue we're trying to solve? And why did you solve it this way? And why do we solve it this way?
All right.
And then the more we talked, we said, well, wait a minute. What if we did this and this, and there was a third way? And it solved the issue and worked in both companies. Then the second thing we said is, let's not focus on who's right, but what's right. And that was a fundamental value for both companies. I mean, Walmart was always, how do we do the right thing? So was P&G, but we never applied that those same values when in working together.
So I think the critical thing here, as our viewers and listeners think through this, is how they apply it to their organizations or their businesses. You've got to build the trust, really, and you build the trust by navigating all of these issues, not positions.
Absolutely.
I think that's critical. You get into the issues, solve those. Don't worry about the position, because that solves the position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Tom, I think that's so critical. So as you think back now about some of the biggest obstacles on the collaboration, so you had to, you talked, how did you overcome some of the biggest obstacles? There were two large companies at this point.
Right.
Okay. And very independent. Okay. I mean, Walmart, we knew merchant, we knew retail, you knew the manufacturing and that piece of it. So it had to be some huge collaboration.
Yes. And there were a couple of things which really drove that. We tried to understand from each other what were all the things that we measured inside each company and why did we do that? And what was the impact that what I did had on that for you and vice versa. Okay. Because in the past, we knew what we wanted. Walmart knew what they wanted. We didn't really care what the impact was in the other. We just wanted an outcome.
Okay.
And so by doing that, and then we started saying, well, why don't we share data so we can start looking?
Yeah.
And that's what gave rise to Retail Link. Yeah. Walmart had incredible fast data, but it was formatted in a way to run your business.
Right.
But there was another level to that, which is if a supplier can look at that data, there's all of a sudden there's new insights they can bring to Walmart above Walmart just knowing what their comp sales were and their margins and whatever. And so that became really important. Another big obstacle we had was initially, this was a lay-on to Walmart associates. I mean, they had a regular job, and then they had to work with us,
right?
Where we were totally dedicated. Mm-hmm. And so what we did is we said, how do we make their time more efficient? So we would have a meeting, and we'd agree stuff, and we would then go away and do it 80% of the work, because we were fully dedicated. We were getting paid to do that.
Right.
Okay, and then we would get back together and fine-tune it. So we were taking good advantage of their time. They were getting a big payback for the time investment, and we were moving the ball forward. The other thing we did is, as this sense of urgency, we had a lot of projects on the go all the time. And instead of having one at a time, if you have 10 things on the go and 5 of them work, you're making great progress in that regard. And then the last thing for trust, in my view, was, that we communicated to each other that we did care about the other's success, both personal and as a company. And then integrity. And integrity is, what do you do when something doesn't work the way you thought it was going to work? Mm-hmm. And a couple of examples. P&G had a policy that when we raised our prices, every customer got 2 weeks of inventory at the old price. And if they had merchandising happening in that window, they could complete their merchandising order. Well, Walmart ran monthly tabs, and the quantity they ordered was so huge, they had to tell us that 6 months in advance so we could gear up for it. Well, I remember when we had an item in the tab and we were going to increase price, and I was supposed to go back and tell Walmart, oh, just kidding, it's now this price. I said, I'm not going to do that. That is not fair. That is not right. They did this to give us a chance for manufacturing. And so we amended our policy as a company that if you had a firm planned merchandising, and they gave us a firm order, or at least a starter order. So we changed that. The flip side of that, we made some custom packs for Walmart, and they would say, I'll make it 100,000 of these. Well, sometimes those wouldn't sell as well, and as they thought they were going to sell, and they'd come back to me and saying, if there's any way you can stop this at 75,000, we'd appreciate it. But if you can't, we will take it. We ordered it.
Wow.
So, and we said, there were example after example.
Perfect.
Or I remember one where one of my new people quoted the wrong price to a Walmart buyer, and product went out at that price, and they didn't notice until the invoice came in, and we covered that.
Yeah. So you were building the trust as you're navigating through it, but that was, as you said, critical piece of the relationship.
Yep.
Now, Tom, we talked about the store side. We talked, we've talked about that. Let's talk about supply chain for a moment. Okay. And let's talk about the disruption, if you will, that was taking place in the supply chain. And of course, COVID brought so much of that to light. But you're also dealing with supply chain now in a different way. So talk about how you work with the distribution supply chain, through some of these disruptions.
Well, it started by, again, back to flow charting the situation. And when we were the first one to go on what they called vendor managed inventory.
Right.
So what had happened is we had this chain where the buyer would give it to the salesperson would give it to manufacturing, on up the line. And we said, wait a minute, we need someone to own the process. So why don't P&G own the process? You tell us the rules, Walmart. What's the level of inventory? We use your incredible data, and as things scanned, anything scan at the register, we would know where and what DC. And so as you got the truck full, and everybody at P&G said, oh, it's going to cost, well, yeah, great, Muccio, that was smart. Yeah, you take over their work for him.
Yeah.
And we ended up paying for it 3 times over because of manufacturing efficiency and better, with our suppliers, better ability to predict things. And it was incredible. But again, it's like, it's that peeling of the onion. It's willing to try something that's never been done before. Try to, the whole idea of doing things systemically, because things plug together. An appliance, you got to plug it in the wall, then it works. The appliance may be terrific, but you don't have any electricity. And we found that that was the case. And of course, I had one of my stories for trust was when I was growing up, my brother and I would have Twinkies, and we'd fight over who got the biggest half of the Twinkie. Well, my dad said, I got the solution. One of you cut the Twinkie and the other one gets to pick first. We had some clean-cut Twinkies at our house.
That's a great story. So, okay, Tom, let's talk about, so much focus on Walmart and P&G, but P&G had hundreds, thousands of other customers, other retailers.
Right.
So as you think about this collaborative disruption that was happening to Walmart, and you were dealing with the issues and solving all the issues that you have shared, what about other retail companies, Kmart or others at the time? How did all this learning take place with other customers of P&G?
Well, that's a great question. About 2 years into this relationship with Walmart, obviously Walmart was taking share, we were building share, the other retailers are, what, you're giving Walmart something special.
Right.
We said, our policy is everybody gets the same price in proportion, but we're both investing resources. So Target would say, well, I want to do it as well. And I would say, and I met with every C-suite, Costco, Target, whatever. I said, what you need to understand, this isn't you going into the barber's chair, getting a haircut, and we say, okay, you're done, Skippy. This is not something we do to you. This is something we do together. And if we're going to put in resources, you have to put in resources. And the objective is, I'm not asking you to change your strategy. I want to help you to use my brand to support whatever strategy. You're responsible for your strategy, not me. So like Walmart was everyday low price.
Right.
So how do we help Walmart execute their strategy, which was totally different than what was done before then? And still, there's a whole lot of high-low people out there. Most of the grocers, Publix, Kroger, I mean, they're still high-low,
right.
Buy one, get one frees, and all of those kind of things. So that was...
So P&G, did they put dedicated teams with a Costco, with the Target and others? Then?
Yes.
Similar to what?
If they were willing to invest.
If they were willing to make the change.
And then we put firewalls up. There was nobody in my leadership team that could go and work for another retailer without having a year's assignment someplace else in the company.
Break. So they got a break.
And had to have a break. Even though I was the president of global teams, I would never compromise anything that was Walmart proprietary or semi-proprietary between the two. I was dealing with the mechanical. Here's the mechanical things that you need to do, and then helping the P&G team leaders learn how to be general managers.
As you look back now, and if you take a global view of retail, a global view of suppliers, as you look back, what do you see because of this collaborative disruption that took place, both companies that you've shared with us? What are some key learnings now that are happening today? And this, because this started 20 years ago, maybe all of this, at least about 20 years ago. So as you fast forward for our audience today, they can say, okay, today, let's talk about today.
Well, you made a comment before. One of the things, it has to be a win-win in total, and in any individual decision, it needs to be win-win or win-neutral. So sometimes it'll be, if I can help you and it doesn't cost me anything, why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
But overall, it's got to be a win-win. So I would say support at the top of the company, and then alignment, because you can't do change if you don't have some flexibility, if you can't try new things. So you have to have, the C-suite controls rewards, helps to go against resistance. It gives you the rope to be able to do these things. And I think a lot of that fell apart during COVID, where people were working from home. The teams, teams weren't functioning. And so now we're coming back, and there's a lot of opportunity to relearn and to retry. I mean, Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, he picked my book, Collaborative Disruption, is one of his top 10 books for this year.
Seen that. That's wonderful. Congratulations.
He said to me, would you come up and speak with some of our... So he had me up speaking and answering questions for a big group of merchandising folk, a group of multifunctional people. And then others in their merchandising said, would I come up with and work with their group? Which I'm happy to do, because I'm a zealot for collaboration.
Sure.
But Doug is wanting to get Walmart to restore that, to lean forward more. And I think there's enormous opportunity within the whole supplier world to learn how to redo that. But you got to do the principles. I used to say, we're good, but we can't do gold out of straw. I mean, you got to have the resources and the ability to move them around if you want to get the result.
Well, I think your book has just a really great outline of really how you approach this complex situation or this disruption.
Right.
And I mean, but the key word here is collaborative.
Right.
And I think you've done a great job of talking about this. Nothing is wrong with disruption. In fact, let's change. And, Sam always taught us, he said, the most consistent thing at Walmart's change.
Right.
It's been that way since day one.
Right.
And it's still that way, I believe.
I believe you're right.
And so, but, disruption is change. And I think you lay out really well in your book, how this whole thing about the one company model, the change management, the transforming of relationships that take place, and then how you overcome these obstacles. And then I think, the bottom line that you talk about on no matter what relationship you have, from business to personal, is that trust that you talk about and that building trust. And I think you give some great advice, Tom. I know I've learned a lot, so much. So, yeah, a couple of things we get out of here, though, because I want to talk about things, a couple of things with you. As you think back, your time on all this, what's a great story that you learned, that you can share that it was a great learning for you or whatever?
Well, it started for me. I went to every Saturday morning meeting.
Oh, I used to see you there.
For the first 5 years.
I thought you worked for Walmart for a while.
For the first 5 years, I learned so much.
Yeah.
And I learned so much about leadership from Sam, David Glass, Don Soderquist, Paul Carter. There was just terrific. And that also helped build trust because people saw me there and say, what's this guy doing here? But it also gave me an opportunity to have a 1-minute conversation, follow-up conversation with you, with 10 people that you wouldn't have had a meeting about. But I said, hey, Andy, you told me you wanted to do it, but I'm going to get that in the mail to you. Yeah. So that was a big help. But I learned so much from a leadership point of view from my association with the Walmart leaders.
Yeah, I think when I would see you there, I knew what you were doing. I knew you were P&G. I see you were there, and I would see you having these little sidebars between breaks and things with Walmart leaders, and you were listening. But you were very engaged, and I think that thing that when I look at you there, that was part of your learning, to learn the culture at Walmart and to be around the people and care deeply about creating this to happen. And so you set the example of that. And then you got to hear these great stories.
And then the second thing that is the power of joint innovation, because each company does something better than the other. But when you put the opportunity in the middle of the table and you build together, you can make 2 and 2 5 every time.
Yeah. Wow. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here. You're such a great friend. I've known you for a long time. And I want to talk to our viewers about something that we're going to do soon that we'll be announcing. But any closing thoughts around this topic? Then I want to move to another topic. But
I just would encourage people to invest in collaboration with their customers and suppliers. There's a lot that's laying on the table, but you don't get it if you're not willing to work for it and change some things. But there's gold in them there are hills.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I think one of the things that I learned watching this whole thing develop in my time, because I was running operating. I was running operating division then when a lot of this was taking place, and I was watching it from afar. But one of the things I learned is that even when things are going really good, that's the time you need to lean in and change it. When times are great, this is it's important to create a disruption and look at this. Right. And I think that's what you were doing. our business, we were doing great business
Absolutely.
together, but look, because of the disruption and how you navigated this disruption, look at what happened. It changed retailing and supplier relationships and what you did,
Right.
there. So I think the learn is, as many of you that are doing and listen to this, you run businesses, you run this. Don't be afraid now to create that disruption.
And it's worth it. I mean,
Yeah.
P&G Walmart relationship started out at $350 million. 15 years later, it was $8 billion, which was 234th on the Fortune 500 as an independent company. And Walmart went from losing 5% to positive 15. That's a 20 margin point. And there was no magic formula. We did that one brick at a time. We built this business.
But that is the long-term effects of collaborative disruption is what you just said.
Yes.
If you really want a long-term effect, and it took years to do this, but with that, you just shared financials of what collaborative disruption can do.
Right.
With great people leading those efforts. Tom Muccio, what a pleasure to have you here. Now, something Tom and I have been hanging out and talking about is that, Tom, you're going to see Tom come back. Listen, there's already I said, okay, Tom, listen, we'll do a couple of these, but you got to come back. So what Tom and I are going to do, they're going to hear us in the future talk about servant leadership. We're both passionate about that. In doing business in Bentonville, we're going to be launching, and we have not told a lot of people about this yet, but we're going to be launching this year a servant leader podcast. And Tom has agreed to come back and share great leadership lessons around that. He's passionate about it. And so he's going to come back, and we're going to continue some great conversations around servant leadership. So you'll see a lot more about that as we get ready to launch that. So, Tom, I'm excited that you'll be coming back.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, all our viewers and listeners. Again, we appreciate you so much. Reach out to me on LinkedIn anytime. Send me a message. Have questions. I'll answer that. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.